Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew, also known as Tyrion King, and I'm here with my co-host.
Joshua, and we are here to cover Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, the movie, which covers the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero manga. Yeah, that's not confusing in the slightest. Um, regardless, this will be finishing up our Jujutsu Kaisen coverage for now until season 2 comes out, I think next year. But yeah, just getting into it. I know it's definitely been kind of a while since we saw the movie, but if you remember at all, just kind of what were some of your like overall thoughts, like kind of
It was a good movie. I liked the animation. I liked the story. It was good.
yeah, going into it, like what were you expecting?
Not much because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't. I think I vaguely knew the plot was about some one-off mention of a character that we'd heard about like once or twice. So didn't have all that
Mm-hmm.
much idea of what I was getting into, but it was a good movie. Uh, I liked all of the callbacks to the show, or I guess what the show calls back to this, depending on what order you watch it. But
Yeah,
it was good.
and uh, yeah, cause technically, also if you're just like reading in technical manga chronological order, the manga would technically be referencing back to this, but since the anime did it vice versa, yeah, it's more of calling back to the anime in ways, but it works both ways.
Yeah.
But just getting into it, because I feel like this movie very much um like hinges on your opinions on this one character. What are your thoughts on Yuta?
I really liked him. And are you saying there are people that didn't like him as a character? Because that's crazy.
Um, I don't know. Like, I honestly haven't seen too much like on reviews for like this movie, so I actually don't know. But I don't know. I mean, there might be some people who might not like him at least in the beginning because like I get it. He's not exactly like your typical shonen protagonist. Um,
I think that's kind of
at least
the
like
fun part about him is that he's just not the same generic character.
yeah, no, I very much like it, and it's very much interesting to see that basically we go from like a character who starts out like pretty weak, um, and like weak-willed, like weak physically and whatnot, and then compare him to what became the protagonist for Jujutsu Kaisen, who is strong-willed and strong in personality.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of how like the My Hero pilot, a lot of the characters are polar opposites in from the original pilot to what the anime slash manga
Yeah,
became.
yeah, no, it's yeah, no, I remember reading that one shot. It's like it's funny just to see how like things change from like the one shot or like because well technically Jujutsu Kaisen is technically like a one shot for Jujutsu Kaisen. It also double acts as like a prequel series as well. Because it I don't know, it's one of those weird things where it was actually kind of greenlit like through this prequel series. So,
Yeah.
but regardless, yeah, no, Yuta's a really fun character, and I can't wait to see where it goes from him going forth.
Yeah, because I think he should appear in
Um,
the anime
but yeah,
sometime soon, right?
I think he should most likely appear in season 2 because I mean, why else would you do this movie before season 2
Yeah.
if not to introduce the character? Because I feel like it's gonna be important, and it'll probably be like even just in season 1, the events of this movie have been referenced quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it definitely pays to know about it, especially some other stuff that we'll talk about a bit later in this movie as well. But yeah, getting into it, we cold open basically on Yuta waking up in the same sort of situation that Itadori does in the actual manga. And that is basically Gojo's like, yeah, you're about to be executed, but I saved you from like the higher ups because I'm like, it's such a waste of child's youth. And he also just hates the higher ups. But
As one
we
should.
we all yeah, but he also states how basically Yuta has not purposely, but he has off like a whole bunch of high schoolers whenever they get close to him due to a special grade like apparition curse called Rika, who is attached to Yuta,
I
and you,
I thought the movie started with Yuta getting bullied, and then Reika just like we don't see what fully happens, but like they just
Rika.
get they just like kind of crumple in on themselves, or it's very dark, and I remember them getting absolutely either torn to shreds or beaten up, and then we don't fully see what happens. Like it pans, and then suddenly they're against the wall and bones are broken or they're mushed, and then we get to the Gojo like, hey, saved you from dying, or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah. No, no, it's pretty much like that. I think we might have gotten like a flash of Yuta waking up in that room prior to getting the talk with Gojo, because I think we flash back to like it's like we flash in between the two of them, I believe.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just based off of that opening, it sets a very like different tone, I think, compared to like it's eventually the tone that like Jujutsu Kaisen would get into, but it starts out I think with a very different tone.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, just based off of that, like what do you think of it? Like just going into the like this cold open for it.
I don't know. I kind of felt again. It's been what I think it's been a month since it came out, right? So it's been a
Um,
while since I've seen
yeah, I
it.
think a little over like 2 months.
Oh, really that long? Wow, we are behind. That makes sense. Um. Anyways, continuing.
Yeah.
Um. So it's been a while since. So like I can only remember snippets, but I don't remember it feeling. I don't remember it feeling that different from Jujutsu Kaisen. But time may be playing tricks on my memory. But I enjoyed it. I think the cold open kind of set like yeah, like setting there was a difference, but like setting up the expectation like don't expect it's just a rinse and repeat of the the actual series, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, so after we have like this whole talk and whatnot, basically we have Yuta heading to like his first day at Jujutsu High, where he like gets introduced to the class, and obviously the class is very defensive because of the curse. And
Don't they all
his
try to
classmates
kill him?
basically are yeah, Maki, Toge, and Panda all try to like kill him because like you're not supposed to like basically you're not supposed to let a curse control you, and that's pretty much what Rika is at this point. Because Yuta has like no control over her.
Yeah.
But through this we get to learn like what Maki, Toge, and Panda were talking about when they were mentioning that like that they knew Yuta and whatnot.
Yeah, I
Like
remember it
during
being
like
confusing because like he was placed in the same class as them, but in the anime they say he's the third year in their second years, and he's like he was the only third
yeah,
year.
no, yeah, no, he's I think he's meant to be a second year as well. I think it may have just been like I don't know, maybe just read the like I don't know, the line just came off weird, I think maybe potentially in the anime when it wasn't meant to.
Yeah.
Um but yeah. So going off of that, basically Gojo's just like, well, it's like because like he what is it? What is it? Oh, he didn't tell you to going like anything going into it, which is such a Gojo move.
Yeah, that is definitely classic Gojo.
Yeah, but basically he sends him on a mission with Maki, um, and we'll probably just kind of be going over this kind of like some parts pretty quick because like this manga like originally came out prior to Jujutsu Kaisen, so like it's like introducing these concepts that people who have already watched like the anime would have like a pretty good grasp on, so like things like they explain curses again or like techniques and whatnot. And well, it's pretty cool to see like the whole introduction that they give for them. Not much to dive into when we've kind of already touched upon it. um Heck, I don't even think we get a domain expansion in this, like, so that's actually something that's extra in like the actual manga.
Yeah, I
um
don't think we do get a domain expansion.
yeah, I think the most insane thing we see is Gojo using his red ability, which is just like that giant red
Well,
blast thing.
I wouldn't say that was the most insane thing we saw, technique wise.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess at least from like the hero's side,
Oh, from the
I
hero
guess
side,
technically.
well, I mean, even then, I think some of the moves that
I don't know. I'd say Utah's is pretty close, but that
Yuta's,
red thing
yeah,
literally
that was,
literally shattered through a building in a second.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, that's fair. I think it's like a close tie, but I'd have to look at him again to give a real answer.
Yeah, but basically Gojo sends him on a mission with Maki to basically defeat like some spirits at the school because they've been like some children have gone missing from it, and basically
Oh, right, I
it's
remember this more in depth now. Ugh, this was weird. I hated this.
yeah, no, yeah, no, it was in a way like I don't know, like those kids like kind of being burnt up inside that one curse's like the big curse's stomach and whatnot was pretty gross, and then also just those weird moving curses at the beginning as well.
Yeah, I think they dipped a little more into the
The one
horror
where their
aspect
face,
in this side, or in this uh, part, or this piece, I guess. The words are hard to come up with.
yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I definitely think that is definitely the case. Like, not that some of the things don't like seem like as much horror in Jujutsu Kaisen, like the main series, but just from what we've seen so far, there haven't been as many like creepy curses like there have been in like this, like in the short time that we see in this series.
Yeah, they definitely go a little harder on the horror.
But yeah, so basically they go in. Maki gives like an explanation of curses and cursed energy and whatnot to him. They get swallowed by the big curse at the top, and Maki's like, "Yeah, I can't do anything because not everyone's blessed with high curse energy resistance." Um, so basically, Yuta has to call upon Rika, and this is like kind of the first time that he's able to like control Rika.
Isn't it
And
because he wears
basically,
the ring?
she yeah, and basically Rika just pops out and rips the curse inside out.
Didn't we get an explanation of where Reika came from by this point?
We've had No, no, no. We're about to get into like where the speculations of where she came from
Well, just
are.
the flashback. The flashback scene is what I'm mostly referring to.
Oh yeah. Well, we see like her. Yeah, like we. Well, no, I think it's like right after this. It's like when he's talking with Gojo in the hospital right after this incident
You know, that
happens.
is exactly it. You're right. I remember it now.
Yeah. No, but I mean we're about to get into it, but just as like to finish off like kind of this opening bit before like going into like the hospital scene. I do kind of like the little thing with Yuta, like he's like, because like Maki basically tells him like, what are you in this for and whatnot, and like, what do you want to do? And as a character, Yuta had very much been like, kind of like very much iffy on like his like where he wants to stand on stuff at this point in the movie. But it's at this point where basically he's like, I want to protect my friends. Like first and foremost. Like he wants to make friends and he wants to protect them, and it's definitely what becomes his driving force throughout the rest of this movie. And man, does he get, like, he is pretty ruthless if you try and attack his friends.
Yes.
But we'll get to that a bit later. But just off this scene, what did you think about it? Just like Yuta's like growth into character motivation and whatnot.
I like it. It kind of feels, I don't know. It feels like it was kind of the only thing they could give him because I can't think of like really what else character motivation he would have as to like why he wants to be a part of this world, except for not getting
Mm-hmm.
killed.
Yeah.
It's a good plot
No, it
reason
was
as any.
basically, yeah. It also just finally gives him like his reason to live because he had also tried to Sudoku himself a few times but couldn't due to Rika.
So it's basically like a Hulk thing. I'm referencing the scene from the original Avengers movie where Bruce admits to trying to sewer slide and the Hulk spitting the bullet back out.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Try. I do not remember that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's in the scene where they're all fighting on the helicarrier and getting affected by Loki's stuff.
Uh huh. Yeah. No. No. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Kind of similar in that way. Um. But yeah. So once at the hospital, Gojo's like, yeah, we looked into Rika and like, there's nothing odd with like her history, like in all like her family background and whatnot. So I have no idea what caused her to turn into a curse. But
Well, I think we should. The part of the scene that I wanted to talk about is when we get the flashback of them as kids. As soon as I
well, yeah,
saw
no, no,
them,
I was about to
yeah,
get into that because Yuta mentions like he mentions that like potentially it was because of him that like that she was cursed, potentially due to like him like I forget what it was, but it's like him basically being there while she was dying and saying like please help me and whatnot and like calling out to Yuta
I
throughout the entire thing. That's at least what he thinks at the
oh,
moment.
I could
But
I
yeah,
thought he didn't assume it was his fault until he learned more. I don't know. It's been a while. Um,
he 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 had a feeling that it was potentially his fault, but Gojo couldn't like it wasn't confirmed one way or another yet.
that's right. I just remember going into that scene, seeing them as kids on a street, and I'm like, she's gonna get hit by a car. And sure enough, she got hit by a car.
She got hit by a car.
I
Yeah,
have a
no, it
sense for these things.
it on yeah, it's very much predictable, but it doesn't make the weight that it carries any less
Oh
hard
no, it still hurt
to
to
watch.
watch. But even though I knew it was like it's like watching a train wreck. It happened. You know what's happening, but you can't look away and you can't stop it.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, but basically at this point, we get like a bit of like a time skip to basically just where Yuta's training to become stronger by like starting to use like weapons and trying to imbue like cursed energy into them. And basically I believe it's after 6 months, because we have like a 6 month time skip of him training. He's sent on a second mission with Toge to go get rid of just a like I believe it's just like a second grade curse and whatnot. And basically they said, yeah, normally students aren't normally called out for this, but Toge is like really good for like this situation. So that's why he was being sent out for it. Um
Makes sense.
but yeah, once we get there, it's pretty. It is pretty interesting seeing like how basically Toge is like we see like basically Yuta's getting a brief on the mission, but Toge just disappears into like a convenience shop, like not shop store, that's right next to like the place where they're meant to like get rid of the curses and whatnot. Um, I just find it funny that he comes out and just like has the throat medicine again and is like, "Yep, okay, I'm gonna go in to the into basically like the shopping district place that they were meant to go in and gets rid of like this crowd of like small fish curses, which was actually pretty cool to see.
That
Like,
was really well animated. I liked that.
yeah, no, it was really well animated, and yeah, it's just it's also cool to see like Toge's powers actually in effect because not that we haven't seen him in effect in like the main series, but we don't get to see it to like the full extent that it's done like in this small bit in the movie.
Yeah.
But basically, after they get rid of like that big group of small curses, this another like very strong like I believe they said it's like a semi special grade, so it's not like a special grade like level quite yet, but it's like pretty close. Appears and they aren't able to get out because someone put another barrier on top. I wonder who it could be. Um,
Mm,
Definitely not someone who was whose name is Susumu Geto, but we'll get into him later. But anyways, so basically, due to Toge already like being kind of tired out from clearing out that big crowd of first, because like his technique puts a huge strain on his voice. We learn, and it's like one of those cool things because it's like because here we like it's here that like the throat medicine is established like as a thing that Toge needs in order to keep his throat going for to be able to put out those words. But in the anime, I didn't notice this I think until like the second time, but it's that he uses the throat medicine during like while running away from Hanami and whatnot.
I can't remember if I noticed that or not. I think I did.
Yeah, I don't know if we watched. I think we watched it all before we went to the
Oh
movie,
yeah, no, we
so I
made
don't
yeah
know
we
if
made
you would
sure
have.
we I think we finished the season the day of the movie. We went to see the movie.
Yeah.
I know we finished everything
Um.
before we saw the movie.
Mhm. But yeah, so and his like he had two set up, but his throat medicine gets hit away by the curse, and Yuta runs off with Toge because like he's able to shoot like these beams of light or whatnot. I'm not entirely sure what like they were, but like they seem to damage you pretty good from like what can be seen of them. Um, and so basically they devise like because also I guess I should have mentioned this but I forgot to is that Yuta can't quite get a read on Toge at this point, so like he's been kind of scared of like to approach him and whatnot, but it's like at this point when they're like trying to figure out how to get rid of this curse and get away, Yuta finally understands why Toge was like so serious and like had like this serious scowl on his face at times. It's because he was trying to make sure that Yuta was okay and whatnot. um And so basically, Yuta goes in to be a distraction so Toge can get his throat medicine to get rid of the semi special grade curse.
Hmm.
And it's once they exit the shopping district that we see Susumu Geto like watching over because he had found like Yuta's ID on the school because he had also placed that curse there as well.
Wow, what a
Um,
shock!
yeah, and so he's basically been observing Yuta and Rika's powers this entire time. Oh. Sorry. So what are your thoughts on like this part?
I don't remember. It wasn't the curse kind of looked like an old, I say like a decrepit gnome looking thing. It was like really stringy and had that long beard and like giant eyes or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it looked like. I can't quite fully remember either, but that sounds about right.
I remember Toga uses it was I can't remember the exact word Toga uses, but he uses one word and it like completely destroys the curse. What was the word? It was something cool.
I think he said like crush or something like that,
Yeah, that was it.
and basically like the thing like crushed in on itself, and that was done really well as well.
Yeah. The way I live by is if I can remember a specific scene a while after I've seen it, it was either animated well or it was done well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's definitely like one of those things that I think was really like that was done really well. Like any like action in this movie is obviously done really well. Like the director behind like the Jujutsu Kaisen anime and whatnot really I think knows like how to like choreograph like fight scenes and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um and what is it? And so basically after we get that we get like we get a little scene introducing it's not Susumu, it's Suguru Geto. um and basically we meet him like at this temple and whatnot, get like basically being paid to get rid of like this curse on a girl's shoulder. And like he has like this entire like kind of cult behind it where he's like because he wants to like have jujutsu sorcerers replace humans because um he thinks that they're better than basically what he defines as the monkeys who collect money. Um, and he yeah he and like we see this because like he like literally lets one of the people who's been paying him to like keep curses away just lets him die because he can't pay him anymore. And yeah, no, it's a very much a very interesting introduction to Sukuru Geto as a character.
Yeah, because we don't really see. I don't want to say we don't see a lot of him in the anime. We never see like this much of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's yeah, it's very much a good introduction to him, but it also it'll bring up an interesting question that I'm gonna like pose a bit later. Um and so basically after that we swatch ah not switch over to the perspective of like the kind of the higher ups of Jujutsu High meeting and being like, yeah, we kind of have like we've kind of noticed that Suguru Geto has been kind of collecting a lot of curses recently. What could he be doing this for? And Kojo's just like, well, if I know him well enough, like I know he does. Like I think I know him. He has about he probably has around like 2,000 curses and is looking to declare war on Jujutsu High, most likely, to carry out his goals. To which, you know, coincidentally is what happens like basically right after this. After he interrogates Yuta a bit, being like leave leave behind his friends and whatnot to join him. Um but Yuta obviously refuses, and so Suguru's just like, well, guess I gotta declare war on Jujutsu High now. So December 24th, your school and the Kyoto school, I'm gonna send like 1,000 curses each place. Have fun defending those cities.
Yeah, but we this what did they call this scene in the anime? The Night of 10,000 Curses or something?
Yeah, yeah, the night parade of 100 demons.
That's it.
Yeah, but this is very much a setup to like it, that's basically there to set up like what will basically be like the climax area of this movie. Um, and from there, I mean, we practically just go in like straight into it, like, and everyone's all set up. and so the battle starts. But we swap over to Yuta for a bit. Like him and Maki are there because Maki is like deemed not strong enough just due to her being technically a grade 4, even though she's much stronger, as we would know. But here we get like a little bit of a nice bonding scene between Yuta and Maki, and you know, it's very nice. Just that like we get to see like Maki's thing of like just a bit more of her as a child. We see like that she was very much ignored in the household due to like not having any powers, and just that's what like it's like wasn't only that, but it's just like the horrible treatment that she like got from like the people around her. That's like, yeah, I left the school so I could become a jujutsu sorcerer and then also destroy my family home because I'm like, I like she just does not like her family setup, and becoming a great sorcerer from having no cursed energy very much is like wants her she wants that to be a proof for it. Ugh, I am all sorts of tongue tied right now.
That's okay.
But yeah, what do you think of like that scene?
I don't remember much about the scene, so I don't have a lot to talk about because I don't really remember it.
That's all right. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just also a very nice scene, and I don't know. Not too big into shipping, but I ship it.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember much
But
about it.
yeah, but yeah, it's at this point that we get to see like a bit of the fights going on in the like in both Shinjuku and Tokyo, and we get to like some pretty cool ones. Like we get to see Nanami doing like the Black Flash that he was quoted to have done 4 times, basically at once.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we get to yeah, it's also we also get to see a bit of like the setup for Toto's defeating 5 grade 1 curses and a special grade curse on his own. Um, Otherwise, we just see like a whole bunch of like other minor characters that we've seen like throughout the first season that I can't remember all of the names, but I remember what is it? It's May. May's like fighting style with like an axe is pretty cool.
Yes.
And then like we had I forget who it is. What's the guy with glasses that's like always there to assist them to like send them out on missions and whatnot? He was fighting those 2 teenage girls.
I know who you were talking about. I do not know his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his or the girls' names either, but I don't know. I kind of do want to see potentially, hopefully, more from like those 2 teenage girls there, because like, man, their backstory was kind of depressing. Like, practically because they were treated as like I don't know, they were treated as like livestock. I think, kind of in a way, or something like similar to that. Just because apparently, if like you're out in the countryside and you're a jujutsu sorcerer, it apparently is not a good thing for you.
No.
And it's like one of the few times where we actually get to see like I don't know, it's weird because like Suguru is very much like he's an antagonist, but like I don't know, his like while his views I think are like very much like meant to not be seen in like a good light, it also shows that he isn't like necessarily a bad person either. Just like his goals, at least he's not a bad person when it comes to like other like sorcerers, I guess I should say,
Yeah.
because he saved those 2 girls. But yeah, otherwise Gojo like during this figures out, oh, Suguru did this so basically it was to have Yuta be all alone. And so he transports Toge and Panda over
Oh wait, actually, I
back
just
to
remembered.
Jinzu's High.
Um, in the middle of the fight, Gojo learns about something important, which I won't say. He learns something very important about Yuta, and then he kind
Oh
of puts the
yeah,
pieces together.
he's told that like right. Yeah, he's told right at the beginning of the fight, and it's very much left in silence. So it's like to leave the audience wondering, but it's like at the end of basically it's something that will be like covered at the end. But basically Suguru has gotten into Jujutsu High and is on his way to Yuta, and basically Yuta like is there to like try and stop him and whatnot, but like Maki, Toge, and Panda all try and go in and stop him, and they get like just beaten the heck out of from Suguru. Like they didn't even stand a chance. Um, yeah. And so very much it would be hard for Yuta even like at his like full strength and whatnot. But basically after he sees his friends getting hurt real bad, he summons out Rika like and uses it kind of as a distraction from like for Suguru while he takes like his friends away and heals them, which is apparently a very hard reverse like curse technique to do. So and I definitely think like this like is basically to show like w- like now that Yuta is taking this very much seriously, his power is starting to grow quite a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, like once he gets away and has like healed them up and whatnot, Rika grabs Maki because she's jealous. Um, to which Yuta's like basically has to like stop the situation before he can get like back into the fight with Suguru. But once we get back into it, man, does the fight get turned up to 11. Because not only does he like start out with using like this a weapon that basically has like Toge's technique into it and whatnot,
Oh yeah,
but
the
also
megaphone.
like uh-huh. But he's able to like kind of like even though like he's putting out way too much spiritual like energy that he was able to he basically broke his sword that he's been using the entire movie. But it's like you can see just in his anger, he's like going all out, and it's like putting Suguru on the back foot.
Doesn't
And
Suguru
it was
pull out
just
the three staff the
yeah. During this point, he pulls out the three staff and
is
whatnot,
that
and
the three is that the three section staff from the anime, or is it just a coincidence that they look similar?
yeah, yeah, no, it's the same three section staff, because Suguru basically drops it at like once
Yeah.
like right before he goes into like basically his final desperation move.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, basically he does that, and then once like Suguru is on like his last foot, he's like, well, I guess if this is if you're practically out of energy, I'm just gonna finish you off now since I don't want to waste any more time. So he's like, let me summon all basically like I think he said like what was it? It was like 4,392 or something like that. It was a very specific
It
number
was a
that he
very
summoned
specific
into him.
number that I can never remember.
Yeah, but it was something like that. Summoned it into this move called Uzumaki, which was called Maelstrom in like both the sub like in the subtitles and in the dub for some reason, to which I'm not entirely sure why. But it's basically meant to be a reference to Junji Ito's Uzumaki series, which I found really cool. Um, but also just the way that the attack is animated with all like the curses swirling in it was really well done as well, I think. But basically in order to combat this technique, Yuta asks Rita like, "Hey, I'll give my body to you. Just will you do this for me?" And basically awakens Rika, and Rika just freaking tears through the technique and through like Suguru Geto to finish off the fight.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, just as a whole, like, what do you think about the fight?
It was a good fight. Yeah, I remember that fight being really well done. I can't remember specific moves, but I remember it looking really good and it being like a really good fight.
Yeah, no, I like especially like once it became like Yuta and Rika versus like Suguru, like it's where it started kind of going all out and whatnot, and like just being able to see Yuta also like this anger powering him to wanting to protect his friends and whatnot, like was really cool to see him
Yeah,
like basically break out all of his power and whatnot. But yeah. Otherwise, we then get to the end where I forget if it's before or I think it's before the Suguru and Gojo talk, but basically Gojo appears as like, okay, everything is good. Okay. Also, Yuta, you're my cousin, so that's an interesting thing to know. Um, and that's why we've seen that like Yuta had some like so much power in like his last fight with Suguru.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But after that we get like this scene where like we see Suguru just like like very much bloodied up and whatnot, like slowly inching his way through like an alleyway. I think like he's trying to escape, but he's not making it. And Gojo finds him. He's like Suguru is just like, well, I guess this is it. This is my final moments. You have anything left you want to say? And we don't get to hear what Gojo says, but whatever it is, Suguru's like, oh come on, you shouldn't have said something like that. And I think it's at this point that we get like a bit of a flashback seeing that like they used to be like really good friends and partners and whatnot, but at some point they kind of went separate ways because Suguru wanted to try and become like Satoru Gojo in a way. But
Oh, I always assumed that the reason they split off is because Satoru was just crazy and wanted to become anime Voldemort.
no, he's more of like he wanted to try and take up like the role of Gojo, which I don't know how it got to like the twisted means that it got to, but
Yeah, I'm
whatever it
really interested
was,
now how it
it's
got to that point.
yeah, it definitely like whatever it was, it started out I think as like a good ideal that turned into a kind of a twisted dream.
I guess that kind of makes sense.
But yeah, but it's also like at this point I think like that he also says like before dying that like well also he I forgot this. He also asks A is his family safe, which I find like is an interesting thing that like that's one of the first like few things that he asks because where he attacked I assume like his family was living, so it was like it's interesting to see that he still cares about that even like going like
It
being
could be, maybe it's that he's worried that that the because I mean, we've kind of gotten the impression that the heads of the Jujutsu Society are very vindictive. I wouldn't put it past him if he was kind of scared that the Jujutsu people would go after his family for what he did.
I don't know. They seem to very much be focused on like an individual's actions than like as a group whole thing. It seems in like some cases, but
I don't know.
I don't know. Could potentially be, but I don't think that was really more the case. I think because it feels at least more addressed in the way of like he sent basically curses to attack like a city where his family was and whatnot.
Could
But
be.
also, I think he also states like that he doesn't like while he doesn't like humans, he's fully unable to I think like hate them, I think. Which is very much different to the Suguru Geto from the show, who very much despises humans and Jujutsu sorcerers
It's also
and
weird that
wants to
he's
get rid of them
alive.
all to supplement. Yeah, and also wants to supplement them all with curses, basically.
And he's alive when we saw him die. Yeah, I having
Yeah,
watched the
but
show
I
first, it
definitely
was
think this.
so confusing.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's like definitely meant to raise questions like well, if he's supposed to be dead, how is he alive in the show?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Other than that, I think that pretty much about does it for like the movie. I believe. Oh, also Yuta is freed of Rika. I guess I forgot to mention that. That was the one last thing. It's like basically, it's at like it was during that whole thing, like the whole talk with Gojo that like they basically figured it out like that Yuta was the one who cursed Rika to be with him and whatnot, and that Rika was very much thankful to be able to spend the time with Yuta even if she was already dead.
Yeah.
It's a very much like heartwarming like ending and whatnot.
So, does he let Reika go at the end? I can't remember.
He does, yeah.
So where does he get his power from then?
He's naturally had it.
Okay, so I thought I couldn't tell if Reika was just a boost to his power or just was mostly the source of it.
Yeah, no, it was just his. It was just a version of basically his powers manifested.
All right.
But yeah, otherwise that pretty much about does it. And overall, I very much had like a fun experience like watching this movie, and the story that it tells, like even for just being like pretty short and whatnot, it tells like a very good story. I
No, I
think.
really like the story of this. It was really good, and I like that it's setting up for season two. I'm imagining we're gonna actually they're gonna explain why um I don't remember his name anymore. The villain is alive or quote unquote alive.
Suguru.
Suguru. I wanted to say Satoru, and I'm like, I know it's not Satoru because that's Jojo. That's Gojo's name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's
Oh,
definitely
actually, I think
questions that are meant to be raised, I
we
think, in
we
preparation for season two.
we forgot to mention the end credit scene, which was
Oh yeah, the
who
one
went to
where
pick him
he's
up?
like,
'Cause he was with one of the villains that was on Suguru's
yeah,
team.
he's with the like the Indian guy that Gojo fought during his fight in Shinjuku
Oh, we forgot to mention
that
the
he
red
wanted to
scene,
try and finish up.
but I don't
Oh
think it
yeah,
really
we
matters.
did.
That there's a lot. Did we mention the we that Nanami hitting the four times backflash?
Yeah, I mentioned it.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
I think I just skipped over the Gojo fight,
I think you
but
did.
like even then, it's not that it was bad. It's literally just like if this was technically like because this is technically like the first introduction of Gojo's actual powers,
How
it'd be a lot cooler. But
how did why don't people remember this happening? Like normal people, because like didn't Gojo blow up a building? How did they write this off?
yeah. Well, they did say just to minimize damage. They didn't say
But like,
that damage would be excluded altogether.
if I remember correctly, why can I not remember the main character's name from Jujutsu Kaisen? I'm blanking hardcore. Itadori. Why did if I remember correctly, Itadori had no clue what they were talking about when they mentioned the Night of 100 Demons or the Parade of 100 Demons. Like maybe he wouldn't know it by name, but like you'd think he would know something about it, because like that would be a huge event on the news, right?
um, Not really. I think like very much this was a thing that was meant to be kept under
Oh, actually,
wraps.
no.
Like they
If I
basically
remember
just
correctly, Didn't I think they offhandedly mentioned having evacuated the cities
yeah,
before?
yeah. They evacuated the cities under the issue that it was like an emergency drill or something like that.
Yeah, that's how they got away with it. All right, I couldn't remember
Yeah,
why
like it was
their
under a
secret
pretense of
society
something.
was saved.
Yeah, no, it was under the pretense of an emergency drill, basically, that they
Yep.
evacuated the city.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what it was. Yeah. But otherwise, I think that about wraps up our coverage for this movie
I believe it
until
does.
season two comes out.
Yeah, until season two, that's all you get from us.
Yeah, we'll definitely be back with it, but maybe a while. Um,
So really, it's not
so
coming out fall
regardless,
this year.
no, I believe it was already like slated for 2023, I believe. Let me just check real quick.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's already been confirmed to be 2023. So
Weird. It's 3 years between between when it came out. And, oh wait, did it start come out in 2020 or 2021?
the movie came out.
No, the show.
Let's see. So the series finished. The show finished in 2020, but the movie came out in 2021, and that's basically the holdover.
The movie did not come out in 2021. We watched it this year.
In Japan, it came out in 2021.
Well, alright, that's fair.
Like December of 2021. So I mean, to be fair, it's practically 2022. But
Yeah, that's fair.
regardless, I'm just splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah, you are.
But yeah, so we'll be back with season 2 whenever it comes out in 2023. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to check out any of our other content. Feel free to also check out Matt at on his Twitch channel, Tyrion King, and yeah, um, do the stuff that people always recommend if you want. And
Like,
thanks so
comment,
much for watching.
subscribe, and all that jazz.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. Oh, that's me.